So, we've been talking about WWF all week long, Jalas.
Of course, yes.
Worldwide Fund for Nature.
Everybody has seen us with our jackets.
All week long, we've been with these
wanataka wavae
Kila mtu anataka.
kila mtu anataka kama hii.
And by the way, WWF has been around since 1961, established operations in Kenya in 1962. So, Jalas, we're talking 55, 56 years.
Wow, that is amazing.
Huge. I mean, that's a huge commitment.
Wow.
And with the Black Rhino, their biggest cause today is World Rhino Day. The hashtag we're using is
Save the Black Rhino now. If you are tweeting us, if you are talking to us, please add the hashtag Save the Black Rhino now. Apart from Jeff and Jalas, just put Save the Black Rhino now so that people out there can be aware that today, this Friday, is the
World Rhino Day. And Jalas learned something new today. That a group of rhinos is called
a crush of rhinos.
A crush of rhinos. Joining us now to talk about this day, and of course the WWF, is Dr. Martin Mulama. He is program coordinator for the rhinos for WWF. That's the Worldwide Fund for Nature. Dr. welcome to Hot 96.
Thank you for having me.
There was a rhino pause there.
Thank you for having me. Karibu sana. How's WWF?
WWF is fine. Yeah, good place. Got nothing to do with wrestling.
Of course, that's what I said, because the first day.
From Monday, Jalas always was saying WWF is wrestling. World Wrestling Federation.
Undertaker, Hulk Hogan.
And The Rock.
Only to realize that the Hulk that is there
is the Rhino. So listen, Dr. I don't know how long you've been there, because last time I saw you was in Australia, and I'm not just saying this, I'm not dropping places.
Jeff.
Was in Sydney.
Jeff. The last time I saw Dr. was in Nairobi. Up and down it was studio. So you're pulling an Australia moment.
Yeah, an Australia moment.
Okay.
But the saddest thing is, in the 70s, there were more than 20,000 rhinos in Kenya. Now we're down to 696. That is shocking, to say the least. Your thoughts, Dr.
Yeah, I think that's quite shocking. But we also have good news, on the other side, because that was a major decline, drastic. We got that species being actually uplisted into CITES Up Index 1. But the good news is that for the first time since the mid-80s, the numbers have actually doubled. So what you're talking about now is a double of what was there in 19...
So it was really dire at one point?
It was dire. It was dire. Below 350.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So at least now we're talking of close to 700. A double.
Yeah. And the fact that this year alone, and Jalas and I have been talking about this all week, this year alone, 7 black rhinos have been poached. 7. Average of?
At least one a month.
1 rhino a month.
1 rhino a month. And I'm telling you, that's slightly better than even what we experienced in 2013, because that is when the resurgence of poaching actually was at its peak, when we lost 59 rhinos in total.
Goodness.
Yeah. So things have been happening. We've had a very good working relationship, as WWF with Kenya Wildlife Service. So we've seen numbers of poaching going down. We're not saying that we are there yet, because 7 is still a big number.
Sure. And today being World Rhino Day, Dr. what does it mean for you guys?
I think for us, this is a big day. I think it's a day set aside to be able to celebrate the 5, living species of rhinos. We've got 3 in Asia, then we've got 2 in Africa. So this is a wild day that we put aside to be able to celebrate and just raise the awareness for people to know what it means to lose a species. So these are efforts to conserve. Absolutely.
Yeah. And what are the activities you guys are going to be doing today? Just tell us some of them.
Today we're going to have a major activity in partnership with the KWS at Nyanyuki Stadium. We're also going to have, of course, we're here. We're also going to be on Citizen TV, trying to raise the awareness of what it is. We're also in the Mara. We'll also be having some activities there. So we're trying to be all over as WWF Kenya to try and raise the awareness of of the plight of this black rhino.
Yeah. When you go around talking to, let's say, schools and kids and stuff, are they aware of this, the fact that this animal is endangered? Are they aware, or they don't care?
It's not really that they don't care. A good number is not aware, but if you look at what how they are, I mean, the awareness now compared to, say, about 10 years ago, I can tell you, at least you're seeing people, and especially the young ones, much more involved and much more worried than it was previously.
Yeah.
Yeah, meaning we're probably trying to reach the good group. I mean, you and me, we probably are the age, we're off there, but the young ones have a job to do.
Yeah.
And they need to look at us, as a model. Yeah.
I was telling Jalango the other day, his little daughter might not find a rhino when she grows up,
Yes.
if we're not careful.
Kabisa, itakuwa tu ni story. Once upon a time.
It's a myth.
Yes, and photos and arts, that's what they'll be seeing.
But thanks to WWF,
They are doing a good job. At least now, unasikia the numbers is doubling. You never know if this work goes well and people get involved.
Yeah.
You never know. We might be talking about another 1,000 next year.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Are you doing anything to promote their doubling in numbers? In short, yani, mating and coming up with other scientific
you just had to mention mating, huh?
No. How do you sire new ones?
Kuna artificial ile kitu
artificial insemination. But is there something, a program you people are doing so that my daughter can be able to see a black rhino sometime? Yeah.
Or a crush of them?
Yes, or a crush of rhinos.
Yeah, Jalash, I think there's a lot that we're doing from WWF point of view, and the biggest thing you want to see babies. You want to see rhino breeding. And it's just not poaching. So I'll give you an analogy of a football match, and I guess you guys probably are keen football followers. You're going to have a very good defense. That's the first thing, which in rhino conservation, that is the equivalent of security protection. Then we also got to have a very good forward line to score goals. And that is equivalent to now the biological side, biological management. And for you to win, you'll have to score a lot of goals. And the goals are the babies. So when you have more babies being born, then it means even if you lost 1 or 2 through poaching, or 3, then you've got a buffer. You've got enough. So same thing with football. If you score more, even if in the last 10 minutes or last few minutes, they get to go to score another 3-4, but you've got more that you already scored. So from that analogy, what we do is encourage sanctuary approach, which is not what was there before, because initially they were just roaming wild, everywhere. Difficult to be able to conserve them or get them to be close to each other to mate. So we sponsored the very first sanctuary in Kenya. I think it was done by WWF, and that was mid-1980s, Lake Nakuru National Park. And there, you have actually confined them in an area that it's fenced, and we've moved in rhinos. So chances of them meeting and therefore mating are very high.
Yeah, because they're loners, aren't they? Rhinos are considered loners.
They are loners. That I cannot lie to you. When you see a group, which you guys are calling a crush,
yes,
if you're seeing them, you'll not see more than 3 or more than 4. See them, you're seeing maybe a mother, a baby, and one male or something like that. Yeah. So they're actually loners.
Right. And I lost my train of thought in all this excitement. Lake Nakuru National Park, was that your first place where you can find them, and now it's because I hear next is Savo. You're planning the same thing in the Savo?
Yes.
Which is what, relocation, or you're going to have a park there, a separate park, or?
It will be relocation. The first thing is Nakuru actually is a footprint for WWF, not just from rhino, but actually from conservation in general, because you'll remember, it was first a bird sanctuary, then WWF procured the other areas and donated it. So the first rhino sanctuary was actually in Lake Nakuru, again from efforts for WWF. So from that, I think many more have been, created. So when you're creating, Savo is meant to be the current one that we're planning to do. We've finished up all the infrastructure. So now the next thing is to move the rhinos into that. And why you're doing that also is because other sanctuaries, as they breed, they're becoming full. If you leave them at that, what you basically would be calling a carrying capacity, you need to remove them just like you prune your tea for it to grow.
Right.
So you need to also prune, meaning removing some of the excess in that particular sanctuary to take to another one.
Yeah.
So that
Are
this
you
one now
planning to
breeds-
take some to Roma National Park?
It's not even planning. Yeah, this we did. 2-3 years ago. So yeah, this we did. So what we're doing now with that population is to be able to now ensure that the environment is good and that the people who are looking after them, this is the first line of defense, have good, good equipment to do the work, have, the welfare is also taken care of, and also the living condition in working condition.
I can assure you at Roma National Park, we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
No poaching.
Why would my little brothers start poaching animals?
Omuga.
Omuga, it's called Omuga.
Omuga.
Omuga is to mean the strong one. Omuga.
So if someone calls you Omuga.
Omuga.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff
Strong.
the strong one. So Omuga is...
It's not Jeff the Rhino.
Not just the Rhino. Omuga is a very powerful name in the Luo community.
Really?
And this that you've taken this rhinos to Roma on behalf of the community.
No, it's what did you call them? Of Luos.
The Council of Elders.
No,
What?
earlier on, because a Sembe of Luyas.
Their pride.
A pride of So on behalf of the pride
The
of
pride
Luos.
of Luos. I want to take this opportunity
To thank
to
Daktari.
thank Daktari and the team from WWF
Yes.
for taking the rhinos to Roma National Park. And I myself will volunteer as the champion of Roma.
Daktari, what makes you an expert in rhinos?
Well, interesting. I did my bachelor's. Interesting in chemistry. Nothing to do with wildlife. Yeah, but then after that, I got passion when I was employed, and I've been working on rhinos since 95 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
The last 20-something years.
Yeah, so
And if someone was to ask you the difference between a black rhino and a white rhino,
I would
because
say-
they all look the same, eh?
they look the same, but I'll tell you straight, it's not the color.
Correct.
One is not black, the other one is not white.
No. You
They're
hear
just
that?
names, yeah.
It's
I
not.
always thought that it's the color.
And I'm sure most people have the same
So there's
thoughts.
a black rhino
And a white rhino,
but it's not the
about color.
It's
What is it
not
about?
color? It's about the physical appearance, what they call morphology. And when you get close to them, you'll see actually the white is bigger than the black. The white is more social than the black. You'll see it in bigger groups. But the black is also what is a browser, meaning it feeds on twigs. But the white feeds on grass.
It's a grazer.
They cannot mate.
Cannot.
No, those are different species, so they wouldn't be able to mate, and that's why you see on one side we've got a lot of whites, but yet we've got very, very, very few of
blacks. See, there's no way you can have like a black and white gray rhino.
Zebra rhino.
Zebra rhino. Yes.
This other species, these other three that we don't have here in the country, which ones are they?
That's a subspecies of the white, because for the whites you have two subspecies. We have the southern and the northern one,
Right.
and then for the blacks you have actually 4 subspecies. Interesting for you to notice that the fourth one, which was found in Cameroon, went extinct in 2010.
So they're
It's
not
no longer available in the wild. So now you're talking about 3 of the subspecies of there. So if again those ones are not taken care of, you're staring at another extinction.
Goodness.
Wow. So it's up to us to get out there and protect the black rhino now, so that we are always having it here. Let it not go into extinction.
It's very important.
Very, very important.
Looks like WWF, you're doing a great job out there. And today
Yes.
is World Rhino Day. And the hashtag is...
Save the black rhino now.
We're talking to Dr. Martin Mulama, he's program coordinator for the Rhino for the World Wildlife Fund.
And as we speak, you can also get into their website.
That's right.
www.wwfkenya.org, so that you can see and also donate and be part of the whole conservation.
In fact, Daktari, I want to talk about that when we come back. Let's talk about how can people contribute? How can people play a bigger role? And it's not just a Muzungu thing. Let's face it. Come on, man. We need to take hold of this ourselves.
You've just said it, I'm a Muzungu.
Yeah, come on. Wazungu tu ndio wana conserve, wana nini. Na sisi?
Where is he with the Muzungu?
Hot Breakfast with Jeff and Jelano.